Hey, what's up, guys? It's Diego here. I'm gonna show you guys my deck list for this weekend's Oviedo Regional like top 8 with Buggy from all the decks. Buggy best deck. No, I thought he was a pretty good pick. I was I wasn't really testing too much for this event. Or like didn't grind as much as I normally did. So I like catched up really quickly with what the next new decks were, what they did, and I saw that Buggy was a pretty easy leader to manage. Like it was very hard to make mistakes with this deck because it's pretty like linear in its game plan. So I thought that and a little bit of like good play, good technical play was gonna get me there, and it did. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to the profile over here with the searchers. I would always obviously maximize on consistency as much as you can, especially in a combo deck where you need to see a lot of your pieces. Mr. Gardino is a little bit better than Cross Guild just because he can search and Impel down as well, apart from Cross Guild, which does come up later in the profile with a card that won me a lot of games. And Mr. Galdino, I think it never searched it. Because that card really was better if your opponent didn't know you had it. Um, or you got enough life. But it's a pretty good option. Like late game on 5 Dawn or 5 Dawn up when you're trying to go for lethal, you go instead of going leader effect, you go Galdino, search the card and then play it and then bounce a blocker and win that way. And obviously cross guild, really good as well. Same perspective as Galdino, but can't search impel down. And a good trigger. So as long as you can get your engine going, it's pretty good. It's a good pitch later on with your leader effect or your discard draws, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I wouldn't cut any of these down. And then for my turn 2 plays, my 4 Buggy and my 4 Alvida. A lot of people were asking, were surprised at least that I was playing 4 Buggy, um, which I kind of understand. This card isn't the greatest on paper, but like when you think about it, like this is a going first deck like most of the time. When you go second, you kind of need to high roll your opponent as much as you can. And yes, Alvida filters your deck a lot, but also Alvida gets is really vulnerable, especially when you play by yourself. Um, Obviously this him as well, and I did play him by himself a lot. I just hope my opponent couldn't pop it, but um, I feel like this gave me the most maximizing copies of this gave me the most chance of seeing not only seeing the combo, like the really high end turn 3 combo, but also let me go into like Croc Mihawk, or like sorry, Buggy into the 6-drop Mihawk really early. That way, like my opponent didn't have like an easy attack on the crackback, and I could like preserve some life, which is really huge for this deck, being able to defend that without being using cards from your hand. So yeah, he was pretty good all day. Worst case scenario, right? Like if you draw them like late game, and when you don't want to see them, you just pitch them off your leader effect or your draw discards. That's a good thing about this deck, that you can play a lot of your cards that you don't think are optimal, or like you don't want to see them too much, because even if you do, you just discard them. You just want to be able to see them eventually, at least more than one copy. So yeah, I wouldn't really mess with these ratios. If you like really wanted, you could like play around ratios of this, but it worked for me this weekend, but it might not work for you. Or you would rather play something else in that slot. Obviously, the best of Mihawk, best boy. Um, was really good with the Buggy. Give a good effect. Really big blocker. He attacked a lot though, so uh, you know, is your best thing to play off either the promo Buggy or Croc Mihawk, which I guess we'll talk about promo Buggy in a minute. Um, promo Buggy was interesting. He kind of had like a pudding effect where like he got more value off your opponent knowing you playing him than you actually playing him. Um, but I did actually prefer dropping him, even if my opponent didn't even have a fucking 4-drop to play, than playing this, because he's the only other card that just hard drops this his own effect. And obviously like the plug-in effect is really strong, and he's out of mole gun range, so that's pretty huge. Yeah, this card obviously won me the games that were like really aggro intensive, as it will. Even though I didn't play against a lot of or any Bello Betty. So yeah, but still wouldn't go under 3 copies of this. This card, however, I would consider bumping down to 2. This card was really underwhelming. Um, the only good thing about him is that you don't need to discard a card when you play him. or off his own effect. I mean, but then again, you can say that about this card as well. And this has a higher uh, he can drop a higher curve. Um, like if I feel like the turns were like on curve, like 5 Dawn, I was playing this for Alvita or like a blocker, felt a lot weaker than just playing this, even if it had no like floodgate value, just to play this, just to filter more cards. Because like if you're playing this, they know you don't have this. So honestly, I feel like you might just bumping this card down to playing more of this or another tech card. But I really did not want to see more copies of this card. Um, Obviously it did what it did and it won me some games, but it was like fine. And obviously, like the reason to play the deck, I think, is just this card. This card's crazy. Like this card has way too much text on it. Like it can protect your bodies. It draws 2 cards and then plays another one. Uh, this card is just insane, insane. Like I thought this card it's just a custom card. Um, Even against like Zoro, I would play this before I play this, and I would only play the Buggy in ranges where like either they played a bunch of level 3s or I'm in like kid killer range to get each cheese out of the game. Because I would do this, and then this would protect this from like any down mid rooting into Mulgun, or any what's it called? Any the one drop, the one cost that like blows up any power. So yeah, this card came up a lot. Um, to the point where like people didn't even try and pop because they knew it was like unfruitful. Um, yeah, and then obviously your biggest payoff, Buggy himself. Just Red Rock on leg on a big body. Uh, Even though like playing for him, you're gonna see him a lot. He's gonna clog up your hand sometimes. It doesn't matter with this deck because you can just pitch it. That's really good. That's what I liked about this deck. Like this deck did not there's not really like breaking in this deck. It's more like not seeing your super optimal curve, but it's still there's still a lot of stuff you could do. So I thought like a deck that did the same thing every game was really really good for 9 rounds. Um, so yeah, wouldn't complain about anything except the crocodile, which I thought was pretty weird. We'll talk quickly about the 2Ks. That's another thing I noticed about the deck, which I really liked. I thought the 2K quality was really good, like what the actual cards did themselves. They were not like useless on field as a lot of 2Ks are. Like for example, these 2 cards were just broken, broken. Like playing this on 4 is not on turn 2 is not even bad because like it's not like it's a 6. Like even if it's not a 5, it's not a 5 yet because it's by himself at that point. But like it's still a 6 on your opponent's turn, so you can just block for free, unless they put a Don up, which is still fine. Like into like the curve deck, he's really good. Because like they'll drop their 5 drop, and unless it's like Cavendish, they can't really attack 6. And then Moji came up a lot into the late game where like you're running out of hand, your opponent will attack, thinking it's like mathematical or something, and then you um Moji block and draw a card, and now they have to consider like going for lethal still, knowing it's not the exact amount of cards they were expecting. Um, and this Kamaji was fine. Really, he was the only like useful, useless 2K. But I imagine there's some matchups that his effect comes up, or like he can't die by battle if there's a Moji or a Buggy. But hey, if you find it, let me know because it never came up for me this weekend. But it's still a cross guild, so I would play it. So I would still play it at 4. But um, because that was the good thing about this deck. Like these are really searchable and you could really draw into them. So you want to play your max amount of copies of them. Like I saw a lot of the lists only playing eight 2Ks or playing 10. I felt like this deck could not afford to use a lot of hands. So any 6s or 5s you can defend with at least a 2K. Even if it's a 2K, it's like fine. I saw people testing Kaya. Didn't have enough time to test that card. So I can't really tell if it's like usefulness or not, but I thought it would have the same problem as it did when I played Buggy and tested Kaya. It's like it's not was it a 7 warlord? That isn't a cross guild, so that would come up eventually. So yeah. And then lastly, my tech spots or my flex spots, whatever you want to consider them. Uh, Charlotte Pudding. This is a more common to see in this deck in the flex spots range, but this card was crazy. Obviously, it's Pudding, right? Like it's just a mulligan for your opponent, so you set up lethal a lot or reset the game. This one me my Pluffy matchup, and this one me my UP matchup. Um, Or like on 8th Dawn, I had 2 level 7 bodies on Elvira, or 7 power bodies in Elvira and the leader. And I went putting into Moji, what like the actual broken play was like putting, he was at 2 life at that point, putting and then 8, 6, 6, 8, 8, and then just like get him to 0 there into a really tight spot. But it ended up working out. Putting definitely put a lot of work in that day. And then my last MVP is Sables. This card was really, really broken. Searchable by Mr. 3, really good trigger. Really good on curve if you have like 4 bodies on 9 Dawn, because you can Sables and Buggy at the same turn and get rid of 2 bodies. That never came up, but this card just did us so much. It when we had my GP matchup, when he hit it off the last life to prevent myself from dying. Even though it was a more ouch that situation, but this was the more disrespectful one out of them. This one be my Teach matchup when I bounced his 7-drop Teach and curve. This one be my green yellow matchup. Because I bounced his Bedge blocker that protects other supernovas, but he can't protect himself, so I just killed him through that. Another thing with this card is really cool with Mr. 3, because Mr. 3 can search and pull downs, obviously, like I mentioned before. But if you don't have a Buggy in hand and you want to go for lethal, it's the same amount of downs to just go Mr. 3 and search Sables, and Sables bounce a blocker to go for lethal. So I thought that was a pretty cool interaction. Yeah, that's the profile. I don't think there's any changes I would do for the deck for now. We'll see how OP12 influences the deck build, but I think definitely I'll try out less copies of this Crocodile. Maybe he'll even stay in the deck at the same, because the deck worked fine. There was really like no complaints. Apart from like, you can play on the Crocodile ratios, or you could play Sanji's Pilaf as well. I thought Pilaf was pretty good, but I thought that Pilaf only being good on 3 Dawn was pretty eh. Like I would rather just play Galdino or Searcher and go 7 a face. If I needed to, of course. Mostly I would just go 5 and pass just to see if my opponent countered. But I think that's it. Or I would just put all my Dawn into my leader to prevent green yellow from like stunning my Dawn. I think I'll talk over matchups. My matchup for Red Zoro round 1 won that. Almost got sacked out of the game because of a trigger, but that happens, right? Round 2 I played against UP. I won that. Shout out to Pudding. Round 3 I played against GP. I beat him. While losing the die roll, which was pretty, and a little bit bricked up at the hand as well. That was the game where Sables like last life really came in clutch, because he tapped his Dawn to restand the secret Luffy, and then but the damage from that card hit the Sable, so it bounced him, but he was tapped out, so he couldn't gum to protect himself. Let's see, round 4 after break, it was Teach. I won that. Sables really putting all our work there again. Round 5 was Pluffy. Won that because of Pudding. Like the deciding card that was Pudding. Round 6 was Yamato. I actually lost that in a very comical fashion. I just kind of sat there and watched my opponent 10k double banish me turn 2. Really cool guy. But I think there was nothing I could have done. I got hoodied on curve as well. I just kind of sat there and watched, really. It was like, I was kind of a spectator of my own game. So yeah, this deck has a problem against matchups like that, where like the promo Buggy doesn't really work against the regression. So yeah, that's something to consider. It has a really weird time into Yamato, Reiju, Green Purple is supposed to be a really bad matchup. I just through some like a little bit of luck and technical play, I beat those matchups, thankfully, but they're definitely not supposed to be favored towards me. Round 7 I played against Carrot. Round 8 I played against Queen Yellow Law, won that one. And then round 9 I played against my only a repeat deck, which was another Green Purple. Which obviously not the best thing to see your worst matchup before the last round of getting to top 8 or not, but somehow we got there. Yeah, really glad about my results this weekend. It's pretty weird. Like the event I least grinded was the one I did the best at, but that just happens, you know. You put in the hours, eventually it'll have to pay off, right? Shout out to my sponsor, EJ Gaming. Always super appreciative of the support Elmer gives me. Um, Shout out to the Supernovas. A special shout out to Rex, always being available to test and stuff. Like really, really appreciative of that. We had a fun time. Shout out to the Florida guys. Even though they don't even play this game, they came out there and supported me. Shout out to Joe. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it for the profile. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you hopefully in the future with more profiles to come.